Okay, hi. So like, what's the first moment that comes to mind when you're given a script and you're like, oh my God, this is gonna be so good, I have to draw it right away? Like, is there anything like that?
For me, it's hard to say because each project is different, right? There were a few moments like that with More Than Meets the Eye, especially when I got to create the DJD. That I was excited to do that. It was also a lot of work because I had to design the characters on top of doing, at the time, that was a 22-page comic. So it was a lot of work. But then, like a book like ROM versus Transformers, it was set up in the old Marvel style of doing a script. So you got a basic plot outline, and I was left to just create how many panels were there, and everything like that. And then the writers would come back in and add the dialogue. So I had a lot more creative freedom. So that book, that's one of the most enjoyable books I worked on, because I had the most creative freedom with it. There's always going to be some moment in a book where you're just super excited to work on it, and you want to work. It might be best to try and work on that page first or something, but because you don't want to get near the end and if it's the last page and you're getting to rush it. So sometimes I'll jump ahead. I always do all the layouts for every page first, so I get the idea of what I want, and I know exactly what pages need to be drawn first or which ones I can do out of order, so I can always get the most energy into those pages. But there's always a page or a couple pages that you're going to be super energized to do.
Go ahead.
For me, it's the most kind of heartbreaking, sad scenes are the ones that I'm really excited, and I can picture in my head. Oh my God! And yeah, it's always those ones, like the inside of Bruticus's head when all the boys are just upset and freaking out and nothing's going right. That double spread was super fun to work on. I was really excited about it. Or just, yeah, the Starscream speech at the end of the second annual was also a really fun, it's just a few panels, just a little profile, but just nailing that expression, that upset, heartbreak, that I really love trying to nail those expressions, nailing those moments, because I want people to feel that pain. I'm sorry, but it's true though. Those are the ones that I have the most fun with.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's the big emotional beats are what I get the most excited about, like Ironhide pulling Sunstreaker's destroyed body out of a pile of Insecticons, and just he has no idea what happened, the betrayal, he has no idea, and just showing all that emotion. Or Getaway thinking he's about to be made a Prime, and that hope on his face before things happen. That's when I read a script, it's the big emotional beats are what I get excited for. And then, like Alex said, you lay it all out, but it all kind of builds up to those moments.
I think for me, one of my favorite moments was always when, on Beast Wars, when we got to flash back to Cybertron or do past scenes or whatever. So it's ooh, I get to redesign these characters, and so that was kind of fun. I threw in the McDonald's toys and the Skold flashback. Which Eric asked for, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But the moment when she ripped Pterosaurus Spark out of his chest, that one was super fun. I had a lot of fun. But because it's like they said, it was a big emotional moment, but it was also just fun to draw. And I was like, okay, how far can I push this? And how graphic can I kind of make it? And they didn't stop me, so I just kind of went for it. And I remember coloring More Than Meets the Eye, the page that got me was when Overlord busted out and he stomped poor old Pipes to death. And the way you did like the EKG meteor on the page, I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that was heartbreaking, but it was cool because it was such a big moment. So yeah, those are always the best.
I kind of like when we cut Ambulon in half.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a good one.
I drew a bunch of gag comics, so it was just telling funny jokes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just letting people know we have about 10 minutes left, so start thinking about how to speed run your questions.
Oh, God. I had several questions in mind, but we're out of time, so would any of you like to work on EarthSpark or Skybound?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
work is work. I'd like to work with them.
Fair. But like, okay, I guess that's, we don't really have much time.
Josh and I have worked a little bit on EarthSpark, but it was just like sketches for the packaging art.
Yeah.
That's all we did, but yeah, it was fun to play with those designs for sure, yeah. And it's fun to see them before everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Before I head off, I have one final thing to say, and it's for Josh Burcham. The art style controversy was pointless. Your
Unlike
art style
my art,
rocks.
it's pointy.
Number 2,
Thank you.
Hasbro. Where's our Nyx and Skold figures?
Yeah.
Someday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, my question was going to be for everyone, but now it's just for Milne. How on earth did you get the idea to draw your Transformers' hands with like all like the folds for this joint and stuff? I think it's incredible. It's really well done. Where did you get that idea?
Well, I don't think it's an original idea. Like, I'm pretty sure like other Transformers artists did it before me. Like, especially Don Figueroa. He was like the master of drawing Transformers back in Dreamwave, and like I came on when he was around in Dreamwave, so everybody's like, draw kind of like Don sometimes. So I'm like, okay. But I would just like modify it now to be something more unique for what I want to do. But yeah, like also looking at Gundam or any other mech series in anime will help you like decipher how to do robots and joints and all that stuff.
Thanks.
Really quick question for Alex. I was gonna ask like all of you originally, but since we're running out of time, I see like really complicated like details and shapes and like perspectives and like More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. What tips would you give like a beginner artist to kind of like get those like the concept of those perspectives and those shapes?
To recommend for an artist starting out on it is to study perspective and have like a good understanding of perspective. But to start small, start with your basic shapes. Block it in, like start with like a square, a rectangle, cylinder and all that, and then just build on top of it. Then you can add your details later. Like don't worry about like the nitty gritty, greebly stuff until like, you're comfortable blocking in those basic shapes. Once you get those down and in perspective, then you can start adding all the rest of the stuff later. But you need to understand the basics first. Once you understand that, it becomes like muscle memory and my hand really just goes on autopilot.
Okay.
Which these two can be like, damn it.
I would never.
Thank you.
Thank you.